There are club teams, and MLS would be considered a club team in this case. It's not the national tournament because it doesn't take place in that year, but it comes in to disrupt everybody. They come in to disrupt everybody, and they're played every year, even the years that the World Cup is played.
Yes.
All right. So explain how this works.
Okay, so they pick a number of top clubs from each of the countries in the CONCACAF region.
What region? In the what region?
CONCACAF. So we'll just focus on the U.S., MLS. You get 4 teams. You get your last year's champion. You get your Supporters' Shield, which is the team with the most points.
Yep.
The third team is the winner of the other conference. So if the Revs were to win the East, it would be the winner of the West. And the Open Cup champion, which is just a cup that's available to any team in America. We could put together a team and be in the Open Cup.
Not with him as the 15.
We could be in the Open Cup. Now, I don't know if they have an Open Cup with the pandemic, so they might have to fish for another team with some stupid formulation. But that's how you qualify. It starts in March when the MLS season starts, which is a disadvantage because Mexico, which is the best team has the best teams and has won the most CONCACAF Champions Leagues, starts in January, so they're already warmed up and ready to go, and we're just getting going.
So there's an unfair advantage. Let me ask you this: Mexico is a good soccer nation.
Very good.
And their club teams are good?
Very good. Like, their goalies would never go 0-15 on PKs.
A statistic I never should have brought up, apparently. Yeah, we have to apologize with Dave Coffin. He's single.
You don't have
He's going to be in a coffin in about a week.
Yeah.
The rate is going.
I don't know why I'm sick. I have no idea. I know some people can't catch a cold.
So we've had some close calls. LAFC was in the finals last year.
Mm-hmm.
Philly made it to the semis this year. I love the tournament because I hate the Mexican teams, and I find myself, screaming at my TV rooting for Philly, who I hate Philly.
Okay.
The other week, 2 weeks, I'm rooting for Philly hard. I want to win the thing just once.
That's hysterical.
It'll be so exciting if the Revs can get in this thing.
The best part of that story was your wife and kids upstairs sleeping, and you're railing at the TV. At what time in the morning? 4:30?
No, I honestly, 2 of my kids are watching with me.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right, because they're all kind of Soccerheads. Yeah, all right.
Well, the interesting thing he's leaving out, Paul, why don't you tell him what happens to the Canadian MLS teams, what they have to do?
So the Canadian teams play, the Canadian Championship? And the winner of that qualifies?
Yeah, they don't automatically get in. They have to win Canada.
Right, but isn't there something where, if a Canadian team won the MLS Cup?
So there's Toronto and Montreal.
Right.
Okay.
And Vancouver.
And Vancouver. And so if they win the MLS championship, they're not automatically in, if I'm not mistaken. They have to win their Canadian group to get in, unless they've changed it.
They only do get one team. You're right. I don't know how they pick and choose.
Canada only gets one team.
Canada only gets one team?
Yeah.
And the U.S. gets 4?
Yeah. That's like the value of the dollar between us and them.
Now, we talked a few weeks ago about how hard it is to play in El Salvador because they don't manufacture a little item called lawnmowers. When you play so these games are home and away. You have one game in Mexico if you're playing in their group.
Yeah.
If you have a Mexican team in your group, you have to play there, then you come here. Well, the advantage down there is they over-manufacture batteries and kazoos. So you're down there and it's just noisy and they're chucking hard things at your head. We lose down there all the time.
Okay.
And we come back up here and it's a little more civilized, but you've already in the hole. You lost the first game.
Because they were throwing kazoos at you.
Yes.
That's terrible. That's terrible. And it's we. It's not them.
It is we, yes.
Why is it we?
I want to win this thing. This is like on my, how we want the U.S. to win the World Cup. I would like to see an MLS team win this thing.
But you say we.
Yes. It's America.
I thought you meant you were on the team.
No. But with the team that we enter in the Open Cup with Jim and that's gonna be that's
gonna be good.
It's also gonna be goodbye in the first round.
You know that guy I told you some people can't catch a cold? Yeah. The rest of that joke was I know one guy who's 0-15 catching goals. I know most of you are anxious. Here's the other thing, and I found this really interesting. Some of these club teams are better than the national team. And because, among other things, A, there's more cohesion. Am I correct about that? And then B, they're not necessarily from the United States because the best MLS team has good foreign players And that's the case for Barcelona and for teams all over the world. So it's an interesting tournament because basically, who's the top team in the European League right now?
Bayern, maybe, or
it's Germany. No, I'd go with Bayern. Yeah, over Man City, I would.
Chelsea
at this point, it's called
year,
Chelsea won it last year, but yeah, I would definitely go with the Munich team.
All right, so they've got players from all over the world.
Yes, loaded.
Okay, and this is the weird thing with soccer, where there's actual real free agency between leagues,
in countries.
In countries, right?
Yeah, it's a world game, Dave. We've told you this. You don't want to listen to us.
All right.
That's why we keep saying, we're getting you. We're going to get you involved in this at some point, Dave. Deep.
I'm deeply involved. I'm deeply involved in it's not called soccer. It's called football. It's played on a pitch.
Yes.
The sooner you learn that, the better off we are. Let's talk about your weekend. Let's talk about Jim's weekend. I know most of you are anxious to hear exactly what he was up to. And I know that once we're done with this, I just want to talk about this, Paul, for a second, because well, then afterwards, as anxious I am to talk about sweepers, woke parents, and handball rules, I wanted to talk about Jim's weekend first.
That's fine. Because forward to hearing about it.
The thing is, I know the story, and I want to just say this before he starts. I'm going to have him tell the story. I would have done the same thing, which is exactly how I know that Jim made a terrible mistake, because he did what I would have done. Jim, tell us about it.
Well, Dave, when I left my wife crying at the airport at 4:30 in the morning last week, I don't know if she was crying because I was going or staying back.
Tears of joy.
It was tears of joy. But those of you who are listening that might work for JetBlue or Orbitz, I hate all of you. Okay, my wife booked a flight. We booked a flight a long time ago on Orbitz. It was $290 round trip for both flights. It was a great deal. She was going to fly out to California. She was going to visit her friend, who's a producer, as we heard, Naked and Afraid, and a couple other things. Got a beautiful house in the hills up there. And she was going with her best friend, Janice Nash. She was going.
Yep,
Janice came down with the shingles 12 hours before the trip.
I'm sure she appreciates you telling her medical history.
I didn't say gonorrhea or any kind of sexual disease. It was shingles, Dave.
All right.
Not like the girls you've been finding on Facebook.
All right.
So I had to call Orbitz, and all I needed to do, Paul, fucking simple. This podcast, I can say that. Change the name. Change the name from Janice Nash to Jim Ruberti, who happened to be the other flyer's last name, right?
Yes.
We're going as a couple. Real simple.
You would have thought.
Simple. They said, well, Mr. Ruberti, what we do is we have to cancel her ticket, and then you have to pay today's flight costs. What the cost of that ticket was today. Mm-hmm. It's another $360.
I've been in that spot.
All right, so I'm sure people listening have heard how ridiculous this is. It's not like you went through security. Mm-hmm. Security isn't even started yet, but you can't change your name without paying $1 million. So I changed the name. $360. I take it out of my car. We go to the airport. I had to move work. We moved the podcast. We had to do parking. I prepaid parking. We get there. We get to the airport. We get to JetBlue. Those of you who don't know this, JetBlue is now commingled, sleeping together, having sex with American Airlines. Apparently, at this point, they are one. So we go to the JetBlue terminal. Unfortunately, JetBlue terminal is 37 miles from the American Airlines terminal. So they drop me off. I say, I can't get my tickets. Where are tickets? The lady comes over and goes, they sold this to JetBlue. They sold this to American Airlines, even though everything says JetBlue on it. So you have to go to their terminal to check in. Great. How do I get there? 37 miles for every tunnel in Logan Airport. So we finally get over there. It's about an hour before the flight. Go to check in. My wife gets her boarding pass. She checks in the luggage at $35 a bag. And then we go to get mine. Nothing. Crickets. Never heard of me. Don't know who I am. Ask me to leave. I go up to the counter. There's this nice, wonderful American Airlines gentleman who needs to be shot repeatedly. I know you're a police officer, but this would be valid. He goes, Mr. Ruberti, we have a reservation, but you don't have a ticket. Press
print.
So the guy, right, press print. So I said to the guy, look, here's the money taken out. I even showed him the bank account. There's the money taken out of the account. Sir, JetBlue has not reserved your ticket for you over here at American Airlines. I go, you call over to JetBlue and you guys can talk it all out. Oh, no, we don't communicate with each other.
They haven't connected the phones yet?
Yeah, the phones aren't connected. Yeah. And then when you call JetBlue to square anything away, it would have been longer than my trip to get through to somebody at JetBlue. That's how long the hold was. So then I called the fun-loving people at Orbitz. The fun-loving people at Orbitz hung up no less than 11 times. The 11th one was probably my fault.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I was a little on tilt at the time, right? And they wanted to give me a fucking coupon for $100 for my time. I don't have a ticket. There goes my wife to the gate. My life is shit right now, right?
May I just say one thing to Paul?
Yes.
He was 0 for 11, going to beat his own right.
Hold on. 0 for 15. You're right. Maybe Orbitz was the guy taking a penalty shot, all right? So I was 0 for 11 with Orbitz. So all this being said, I walk all the way down to JetBlue to square everything away. They have 5 people at the counter looking me up. I said, Mr. Ruberti, we have you flying out yesterday. Oh, yeah, okay. I flew out to California, and then I flew back just to piss you people off and waste your time today because I had nothing else to do. Oh, well, we don't show us collecting your money. They didn't believe who I was. I had to get my ID. Then I had to call Bank of America. Good luck getting them in an hour and a half on the phone. So literally, I spent from 3 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon at Logan Airport trying to get on a flight to California. Every flight they found was going to cost me $1,100, and Orbitz in their wonderful, beautiful customer service would say, sir, we'll pay the difference. We'll pay the difference in the cost of that flight and that one. So just pay for it, and we'll send you the money. So I asked Orbitz, I go, no, the 360 you were supposed to give me, when am I getting that? And they said 8 to 12 weeks. And I said, okay, so tell me the process of how you're going to pay the difference in my flight ticket. They said, well, just get a receipt, and then we have an investigation. And when that investigation is complete, we'll then send you that money in 8 to 12 weeks. So as I said to the Orbitz person, why don't you just tell me I'm never getting my money back? Why are we wasting everyone's time here? So I drive all the way back to Cape Cod. And by the way, everybody, I want you to know Orbitz's slogan, their new slogan, Dave, is if the phone isn't ringing, it's probably Orbitz. Because they never call me back, ever. So they finally called me back, and they said, Mr. Ruberti, we're very excited over here on our end. We've got you on the 6:15 flight to California. I was on Cape at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was a minimum of 3.5 hours from Logan Airport.
Yeah.
I said, you guys did a great job. Should have called me 12 hours ago. Maybe we had a shot. Okay, we'll try to get you on the 9:50, the last one out of Boston to Los Angeles. And there might be a price difference, so you might have to pay. I said, listen, I'm not paying for a damn thing. Not happening. What's today?
Today?
I still haven't heard from him. It's just unbelievable. So my wife's out there making porn movies, doing everything without me while I'm stuck at home with my dog, doing a podcast. She had breakfast with Helen Hunt. Helen Hunt she had breakfast with. And then she was with Steven Seagal and everybody else, and I'm here with Paul and Dave. Oh, and this is the best part. I know why I didn't go. Because Dave promised me to get a stand-up open mic in Los Angeles last Sunday.
Yeah.
Did he come through?
Just like Orbitz, Dave came through.
All right. First of all, I'm not a miracle worker.
And I want to apologize to everybody. That was my short. That was in a nutshell. My blood pressure was 800 over 700.
That was a short version?
That was the short version. Sorry.
That was the short version?
Believe me.
How does that work? So Dave calls a club out there and says, listen, I booked the winner's circle out here and Sal, can I get my buddy Jim Ruberti?
They have open mics out there all the time. I figured he might know somebody. Yeah, he might know somebody.
You're staying with the producer of Naked and Afraid, a successful television show, and you don't think maybe he'll call and have better luck than Dave Rattigan, yeah.
I actually tried to get on Naked and Afraid. I sent them a headshot along with a photo of my face, but I didn't get on.
That's Dave's Tinder profile. It's titled Naked and Afraid.
I've never watched that show. Is it you're afraid because you're naked, or you're afraid because of animals and you're naked in the woods?
Yeah.
I'm generally afraid to be naked, so I think I could probably be on that show.
Yeah, the first thing they do is try to make underwear out of leaves and sticks.
Really?
Yeah. David need a grape leaf.
And it's a guy and a girl.
It's a guy and a girl.
Is it an idea that they would eventually hook up, or they just...
No, it's not asexual. It's not a sexual
No, but I'm saying,
show.
do they hook up sometime?
I don't think so.
Really?
Have you seen them?
No, I've never watched
No, they look like me. The girls look like me. The guys look like Dave. And that's pretty much wraps up the show.
The guys are very handsome. So I think, Paul, I know it's a survivalist show. They're out in the wilderness. They have to survive. They've got no clothes on. You would be perfect for it. It'd be great television, because here's what I see.
This would have been a great segue to the handball section of our show today. Handballs.
Anyway, to keep it clean, this is what I think, Paul. Here's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Paul and his partner at wherever, a scene. They've got to do a little work together or something like that. And then we cut, and then we fade in to the next scene, and Paul's at the campfire,